For 2 years, the AI race was measured in money. Who spent the most? Who secured the most chips? And the spending didn't stop. This year, it climbs past $650 billion. But something changed underneath it. Reporting now says close to half of the data centers America planned for 2026 are being delayed or canceled. Not because the money ran out, because of something harder to buy. This is the control room. The systems shift underneath the headlines, without the hype or the fear. Today, the wall the AI build-out is hitting, how real it is, and where the scary number itself is being argued. Start with the spend, because it frames everything. Across Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft, expected 2026 investment in AI capacity runs beyond $650 billion. And yet, of roughly 12 gigawatts of data center capacity planned to come online in the United States this year, Bloomberg reports only about a third is actively under construction. The rest is slipping. The reasons aren't financial. They're the unglamorous hardware of electricity. Start with the transformer, the heavy unit that steps power up and down between the grid and the building. Wood Mackenzie estimates the United States faces a 30% shortfall in large power transformers this year, with demand up more than 100% since 2019. Even the smaller distribution transformers, the ones out on the poles and pads, face a 10% gap. Roughly 80% of the large ones are imported, and a new one can take 2 to 4 years to arrive. You cannot pour money into that timeline and make it move. And it isn't only transformers. It's the switchgear, the breakers, the batteries, the grid connections themselves. You can read the strain in the order books. The backlog at GE Vernova, one of the largest makers of grid equipment, has climbed past $160 billion. And in a single quarter this year, its new orders jumped more than 70%. At Siemens Energy, the backlog reached a record 138 billion euros. A large share of these components runs through supply chains centered on China. In 2024 alone, the United States imported around $4 billion of transformers and related gear from China, the very supply line now most exposed to tariffs and trade friction. And the demand pressing on all of it is climbing fast. The Department of Energy estimates data centers went from about 4% of American electricity in 2023 toward as much as 12% by 2028. In raw terms, from about 58 terawatt-hours a decade ago to 176 last year, toward as much as 580 by the end of the decade. For a decade, the limit on computing was the chip. Quietly, the limit is becoming the wire, and the transformer, and the substation. You can buy the processors, you cannot yet plug them all in. Now, the honest part, and the reason this isn't a panic video. That half-canceled figure is disputed by people who model this for a living. In June, the research firm Semianalysis, whose data guides billion-dollar infrastructure decisions, published a direct rebuttal titled, plainly, "Stop saying half of 2026 United States data center capacity is canceled." Their argument is about the arithmetic. The scary number takes enormous gigawatt-scale announcements at face value and measures cancellations against them. But many of those announcements were never firm plans. Count against inflated promises, and ordinary adjustments look like a collapse. Over 6 months, they say, their own forecast of North American self-build capacity moved by about 1%, and co-location by less than 5%. They point to builds proceeding on schedule. One large operator, CoreWeave, roughly 1.7 gigawatts of active power on track for year-end. And when Microsoft pulled back on some leases back in 2025, a move TD Cowen-sized at up to 2 gigawatts, a Mizuho analyst read it not as retreat, but as, quote, business as usual. The normal tweaking of a portfolio that mixes owned and leased sites. So hold two things at once. The constraint is real. The magnitude, half, may be softer than the headline makes it sound. Strip away the disagreement, and the two sides agree on more than they contest. They argue about how much. They don't really argue about direction. Both accept that power delivery is now a genuine limit, that transformers and interconnection queues, not capital, set the pace. And the queue is where you can see it most clearly. To plug anything large into the American grid, you join a line, a formal interconnection queue. By the end of 2024, Lawrence Berkeley National Lab counted around 2,300 gigawatts of capacity waiting in that line, nearly double the entire existing power fleet of the country. The typical wait, from request to switch on, has doubled to more than 4 years. And here's the part that reframes every announcement. Of all the capacity that asked to connect between 2000 and 2019, only about 13% was ever actually built. 77% was withdrawn. So a gigawatt announced is not a gigawatt delivered. Historically, it is closer to 1 in 8. That distinction changes what you watch, not the press release gigawatts, the substations energized, the transformers delivered, the megawatts actually drawing power. The real scoreboard for AI in 2026 isn't announced capacity. It's connected capacity. Step back, and a pattern the channel keeps meeting appears again. The scarce thing keeps moving. First, it was the model, then the chips. Now, increasingly, the electricity and the physical apparatus that delivers it. Even the most ambitious build shows it. Earlier this year, Oracle and OpenAI quietly dropped a 2-gigawatt expansion of their flagship Texas site, the project called Stargate, and placed that capacity elsewhere. The base build goes on. The expansion did not. That reshapes who holds leverage. For years, the power sat with whoever had the capital and the GPUs. It's shifting toward whoever can build a substation, secure a transformer, get a project through an interconnection queue, and win the agreement of the community and the grid it depends on. The leverage isn't only with the chip designers and the cloud giants now, it's with utilities, transmission operators, and the towns that decide whether a substation gets built. None of those are obstacles to be brushed aside. They are the actual shape of a physical system meeting its limits. The AI build-out was sold as software's speed. It's running into the timelines of infrastructure, measured not in product cycles, but in the years it takes to wire a country. So, is half of it really canceled? Probably not half, but the direction is not in dispute. The limit on artificial intelligence is becoming electrical and physical and slow. Watch what gets connected, not what gets announced. This is the control room. Here is the pattern. The implications are yours. One last thing, as always. The voice you have heard is AI. The visuals are open license, stock, and original motion graphics. But every figure in this video was researched and checked by a human being, and every source is named in the description below. The control room. The signal. Every week.